Okay? Now, we'll talk about the sun later. What we're going to talk about more today is the next biggest kind of thing in the solar system. What's the next biggest kind of thing in the solar system after the sun? And we're talking now about things that orbit the sun. It's the next biggest kind of thing. Planets. Yes, it's planets, right? So we're mainly going to be talking about planets today. And I got a bunch of different pictures of a bunch of different planets. Let's just fiddle around in here. Move myself over here. Does anybody know what this is a picture of, though? Does anybody know what this is a picture of right here? What's this thing? What's this? What are we looking at? Yep. So, there's a reason that I put myself up here. It's because I'm trying to trick you guys. If I move myself out of the way, it's too small to read. Turns out, this is actually the planet Mercury. This is actually not the moon. I tricked you. So, it turns out that planets like Mercury, some of them kind of look kind of moonish, right? So, we've got to be careful when we do this. So, here's the first planet. I'm gonna go through the planets in order real quick, but let's see if we can figure out what each one is. This is Mercury. Mercury is very, very much like the moon. Does anybody know what this planet is? What's this planet? Anybody know? So this planet looks totally different than Mercury. And by the way, this over here, this is not an actual photograph of the surface of Venus. Yeah, this is Venus. This is not an actual photograph of the surface of Venus. This is sort of like a computer graphics image of what the surface of Venus might look like. You can't see the surface of Venus from space. See all this smudgy right here? Does anybody know what all this smudge is that we're seeing all over the surface of Venus? What's blocking our view of the surface of Venus right here? Why can't we see it? What's going on? What's all this smudge? It's a very common thing. We do have it on Earth. Yeah, well, it's clouds. It's clouds. Somebody said gas. That's close. This is clouds. So Venus is totally covered in clouds, right? So if you want to see the surface of Venus, you either have to use a type of light that can penetrate through the clouds, like radar, and we've done that. And we have also landed a probe on Venus. So I'll be showing you some actual photographs of the surface of Venus later. But we have never sent people, and I'll go ahead and spoil this. We will never send people to Venus. That's never happening. Because Venus is an absolute death trap. You're going to die in like 3 or 4 different ways before you ever hit the ground if you tried to land on Venus. We'll talk about that. It's a horrible place. Okay? What's this planet? Do you know what this planet is? What's this planet right here? Oh. What's this planet? Good. I'm glad to see that you guys know that this is Earth. I had one class where nobody was willing to answer that question. I was like, what planet is this? And everybody's like, And I'm like, come on, guys. That's Earth right there, right? Another death trap. We're working on it. Now, yeah, I guess, I guess a lot of people don't notice that this is Earth because we're like... Most of us live in the United States, and we're used to thinking, United States should be in that picture. But, there's other continents, right? That's Africa right there. The place that everybody originally, if you go far enough back, everybody's from, right? So, South America's over here. But yeah, we'll talk about Earth. You know that place. Okay, here we go. Here's the red planet. This one's Mars, right? This is an actual photograph of the surface of Mars over here. Doesn't look very red in this picture, but we'll go over why that's red. Now here's the thing. Those first 4 planets, let me go back through them. Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, those planets together are called the terrestrial planets. Okay, let me write that down. Terrestrial planets. There we go. Terrestrial. And the word terrestrial is based on the word terra. So terrestrial means like terra. Does anybody know what terra is? Does anybody know what terra is? And while you guys answer that question, I'll answer another question. How can we see the rover in this picture? I believe it probably just set up a camera or something. I'm not actually big on the ins and outs of the exact devices that this rover took with it, but it can set up a camera. Okay. Terra means land. That's one way to. That's one definition. Another one would be dirt, right? But terra, technically, there's another word for dirt. It means earth. Okay. Terrestrial means Earth-like. Okay, Earth-like. That's why we sometimes call aliens extraterrestrials, because extra in that case means outside of terrestrial or outside of Earth. So basically we're saying that those first 4 planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, are like Earth. Okay, and we'll see exactly what that means in a second. Okay, so like Earth, that's terrestrial. Now, the outer 4 planets have a different name, so let's look at them real quick. So I'm getting, again, here we go. Here's the next planet right here. Does anybody know what planet this is? What planet is this? While you guys are answering that, I need to restart my document cam. What planet are we looking at here? Yeah, this is Jupiter. This is Jupiter. But this right here, this in the background, this is Jupiter, okay? So, do you guys happen to know what's this? If this is Jupiter, what's showing up down here? What are we dealing with right here? I'm getting some weird lighting. So that's a good guess. Mars is the planet before Jupiter, but this is actually, if you were standing on Mars, Jupiter would be a dot in the sky, okay? This is one of the moons of Jupiter, okay? So we had a satellite orbiting one of Jupiter's moons, and it turned around and took a nice picture of Jupiter rising up over the moon, okay? So Jupiter has a lot of moons, and we'll talk about a few of them. This one's going to be really, really cool, because does this look like our moon? This looks nothing like our moon. So this is a crazy place down here. Okay, so Jupiter up there. Does Jupiter look like Earth? Does Jupiter look like Earth? Yes or no? Is this how Earth looks? No. Jupiter does not look like Earth. And it doesn't have a lot of properties in common with Earth, and that's why it doesn't go in the terrestrial category with Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, okay? Moon looks like cheese. It's pretty crazy. It's not quite cheese, though. Okay. Now, next planet. Let's look at the next one. Any of you guys happen to know what the next planet is? What's the next planet after Jupiter? See if any of you guys know. It's the next planet after Jupiter. Yeah, Saturn, right? Saturn, okay? And what's Saturn known for? What's the big special feature that everybody knows Saturn for? Here's Saturn right here. Yeah, it's the rings. When everybody thinks of Saturn, they don't really worry too much about this part. They're really thinking about these rings around the edge, okay? And by the way, this over here, this is a moon of Saturn. We'll talk about that moon also. Clearly also, this looks nothing like our moon as well. So that's another crazy place. This one's really crazy. We'll talk about that later. Okay, so Saturn. So Jupiter, Saturn. This here, right here, this is Uranus. This is Uranus. It's also pronounced Uranus, but I don't want to have to say anus all the time. So I'm going to go with Uranus, okay? I'm going to go with Uranus right here, which technically isn't that much better. You either got to deal with anus or urine. Yay! Yay for jokes. I'm going with Uranus, though. Technically, neither of those is probably the accurate pronunciation, like the real accurate pronunciation in the language that we use for these moon names, or sorry, planet names. Does anybody know what we named the planets after? You guys know what we named the planets after? See if anybody knows. Yep, they're gods. They're gods. Specifically, somebody said Greek gods, and that's technically true, but we're using the Roman names, okay? So technically it's Roman gods, which are the same as the Greek gods, but we use the Roman names for it. So, for example, Mars back here, that's the Roman name of Ares, the god of war. So Mars is named after the god of war. Mercury is named after the god of speed and a few other things. Hermes. Venus is the goddess of beauty. So technically we should be pronouncing these in Latin, like original Roman Latin, right? And technically in that language, the name of this planet right here is actually supposed to be pronounced a little bit closer to Uranus. 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 But I'm not going to say that either, because if I just started talking about Uranus, you would have no idea what I was talking about, and you'd always be thinking like, wait, what? So I'm not going to go with the original, because nobody says it that way, right? Uranus. I mean, I do kind of like Uranus, but what can you do? Oh, by the way, I'm pretty sure that this one, J makes a Y sound in Roman Latin. So I'm pretty sure that this should be pronounced Jupiter. But I really struggle with that one. Jupiter. But so what can you do? Anyway, so we have Uranus, and then the final planet. What's the last planet? What's the last one that we left out? Final planet. Neptune. Here's Neptune, okay? Here's Neptune. Named after the god of the sea. Which makes a lot of sense because it's got this deep blue color here. So Neptune makes sense for that one. Again, over here, this is a moon of Neptune that's in the foreground of the picture here. And don't worry, I'm not saying that this moon is way bigger than the planet. It's just closer to us, right? So yeah, this is a pretty cool picture of Neptune right here. Okay. Oh, and by the way, all of these pictures are in your book. Okay, all of these pictures are in your book, so you can check those out if you want to.